Hey guys, welcome back to the OHA. Got a new video here for you, and it is for the custom battle mats as promised. So what we're going to do here today is help you bring your SBG game to life. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can take a 4x15 canvas drop cloth, a painter's drop cloth, turn it into one 4x6 and three 4x3 gaming mats for your SBG adventures. So we're going to be using a heavyweight canvas. It's rated at 8 ounces. Just purchased from our local hardware store. You can get it at Home Depot, Home Hardware, Canadian Tire. Just make sure it's a good heavy canvas. And that's going to be found in your painter's section. It's an ideal fabric for this process, as you're going to see as we progress through the video here. It's very porous, which is going to allow the materials we're going to use to adhere well to it. So it's going to be robust, long-lasting, and really give you a lot of playability with it. So we're going to demonstrate all those steps going forward here shortly. Why don't we have a quick look at the material list for what's involved, and then we'll take a quick look at the actual materials themselves. So. Okay guys, so I just threw up the list real quick there just to go through just sort of brief walkthrough of everything you're going to need to do this project. So I'm going to take you through step by step. What you see here, obviously underneath this is the 4x6 that we're going to be building, and then you're just going to apply the same process over to the 4x3s or 4x4, whatever size you want to you make. This is really flexible. It's cut to fit. So if you've got a specially designed table or something a little obscure, you're going to be able to make a mat to fit it, and it's going to look great. So just running through quickly the materials as mentioned. We've got the canvas drop cloth as seen below. What I would recommend to you here, guys, my lovely wife's going to be kind enough to go through and iron this for me. So you're going to get as many of the wrinkles out as possible. It's not going to become perfect, but it's not going to matter because we're going to end up coating it. But you want to get the worst of them out. So give it a good iron. Whether you got to take it somewhere and have it done at an industrial cleaner or something, or do it at home, whichever way is going to work best for you. You're going to need some tubes of DAP and putty. So that would be the white tubes there. I would recommend using the acrylic latex plus silicone. And the only reason I will say that is it is going to be more robust. It's going to last longer. The silicone gives it much better life. The acrylic will tend to eventually dry out and crack a whole lot sooner than the silicone. So if you want to get a good few years out of this, I have a mat that's now coming up on 2 years. I haven't had a problem. There's no reason that if you take care of it, I store it rolled up on a large cardboard tube. There's no reason that it shouldn't last you quite a while. So you're going to need the acrylic compound, whatever you so choose, and that is going to be sort of the base that gets laid out and spread and sort of gives you a substructure to the flocking and sand materials. Next, you're going to need a large putty knife. Mine's missing, but there will be a large used for spreading drywall compound. A 4-foot level ruler or straight edge of some sort, whether it's a 2x4, something to just help you make those cuts. You can line it up on the edge of the table if that works. As you can see, there's duct tape down. I taped it and then had my wife help me and cut it. So it's a good straight line. Paint, as seen here, whatever your ground color of choice is going to be, get some various paints. And just like painting miniatures, you want to have mid, high, and dark tones. And that's going to give it some real depth. So although you're going to be covering it with flock and sand and the like, the paint is just going to again add that protective layer and make it look make it look that much better. So as I mentioned, sand and flock. You can see the flock there. I'm just using playground sand with some very fine gravel screenings put into it. You're going to need PVA glue spray bottle for the PVA glue mix. 2 bottles of dollar store hairspray to seal it after you've hit it with the PVA mix, and garbage bags underneath would be recommended underneath the canvas in case anything leaches. You're going to protect your table, as well as a plastic grocery bag, which you are going to actually use scrunched up. You can also use a sponge if you like, but you're going to give it some texture, the acrylic compound some texture. So that's sort of a run through on the materials. We're going to come back right shortly and we'll get into the first step of the project. Okay guys, so next steps. As you can see here, just quickly in this video, this is the canvas after it's been ironed. Gives you a much better surface to work on, a lot smoother, neater. Everything's going to apply better, it's going to adhere better, so I definitely recommend the ironing process. If you also look up in the corner here, that is the garbage bags I was talking about laid down on top of the table, just to protect the surface. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and start applying some of the filler. I'm not going to videotape the entire process of me spreading everything out. I am using a caulking gun for this. You don't have to. You are more than able to use the exact same product in the smaller tube. Just for the large amount I'm doing, it's going to be easier for me to use the caulking gun. So basically what we're going to do is just start spreading out material. Spreads out quite easy, and that's got a workable time to it. It's not going to set immediately, obviously. And what we're going to do there, I could not find my putty knife for some strange reason, so I just made one out of an old margarine lid. So I'm just going to scrape and start spreading it. And just start working it. You don't want it to be too thick, but you want to get a nice consistency and texture all the way throughout and coat the entire canvas mat with this product. Now obviously the set time is going to vary depending on how thick you leave it. If you leave a large clump, it's obviously going to take a while to set. We're going to go ahead and get this entire mat covered, and then I'll bring you right back. Okay guys, so now we have our compound spread out. This is one of the 4x3 mats, and I just used two 300 milliliter tubes of the DAP acrylic with silicone. So if you're following along to do a 4x3, 2 is going to get you a nice even coat for coverage and allow you to put a little bit of contour and whatnot into it. So now it's got a set, but what we want to do is go ahead and take out the tooling lines from whatever you're using to work it. You know, there's a number of different ways to do this. You can do it with a scrunched up plastic bag. I'm going to try using just a scouring pad and see how that works. So let's go ahead and all you want to do here is give it some contour without pulling up too many tips. Now this is the first time I've tried the scouring pad, and what I think I'm going to do is go back over it with a plastic bag. So I'm going to go ahead and just dab all the way through, and then I'm going to go back and hit it just to even it out a bit. As you can see, it's pulling up the compound quite a bit. So the plastic bag, obviously it doesn't do that quite as bad. So you want to go through. Just remember though, all you're trying to do is give some contour to the mat. The majority of this is going to be covered up once you hit it with your gravel and various types of flock. So you don't have to be too picky with this particular stage. All it's designed to do is give something to allow the flock and other materials to adhere to. It's sort of like a protective coat, keeps the mat robust, and obviously gets rid of the texture of the canvas itself. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that, and then I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, so there's the textured effect done. I'm going to jump you off the tripod real quick just to give you a better sense of what it looks like. So that is the effect that we're going for. So that is going to actually do two things for us. One, it's going to give the mat a little bit of character, a little bit of texture. Two, it's also going to allow the different flocks, whether it's the sand or the ground cover, to really adhere to that mat. So when you use your PBA mix, everything is it's gonna pull together nicely. So that's going to be it for this video segment. This is just going to be general construction, and then I'm going to come back with another video outlining, flocking and painting, things of that nature. So that's it for the general construction of the mat. Stay tuned for the next video as far as the painting and everything else goes. One quick point though as well, if you really wanted to get creative with these mats, the beautiful part with it being the acrylic silicone, I know Green Stuff World makes some pretty amazing molds and things that you can press into green stuff. You could in theory use the exact same process here. So if you were to lay on a thick bead of the acrylic silicone onto the mat, let's say running straight across, you could in fact give it a cobblestone look, and you'd have a cobblestone road embedded right into your mat, and then you can flock and build up from there. So no shortage of ways to go with this. Very simple process. Hope you guys found it useful, and stay tuned for the next coming up right shortly. Thanks, guys.